everyone. I would love to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is Jen Falloon. Jen Falloon is the owner of Vorsa Investments, a commercial syndication and acquisition company. Jennifer has over 900 apartment doors across the nation and growing. That's a jump. Ooh, that is a jump. Jennifer is an international columnist for Wow Warrior magazine and is a national speaker teaching how to have a millionaire mindset and breaking financial curses. Jennifer can be booked for speaking engagements or private consulting at VorsaInvestments.com. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say.
So much. So thank you to Amy. She's doing an amazing job. And thank you so much. Is Dawn even in here? Look, this is so beautiful, and it is really my hope and prayer for Dawn that this just continues to grow and get bigger and bigger so that we're not only having this yearly, but maybe even a couple times a year, right? Because like, who has met some amazing women while they're here, right? Like this is so empowering for all of us. And I just feel like sometimes as women, I'm gonna get a little on a soapbox, like we don't empower and encourage each other enough, right? Like we're all each other's competition. And I would love to see that mold broken, where we're not in competition. Like even if we're doing the exact same thing, we're still collaborating, right? We're still masterminding together. How do we all make each other better in everything we do? Right? So, like she said, I'm Jennifer Falloon, but Vorsa Investments is not who I am, right? First of all, who I am is I am a devout follower of Christ. Everything that I do and everything that I've built is to the glory of His kingdom. And so that is first and foremost in my life. Second of all, I am a wife. I was smart, married a CPA. We've been married 14 years, and we have a blended family of 5. And of those 3 children, or of the 5 children, 3 of them have blessed me with 7 grand darlings. So I get to be Mimi, and that is really the core of who I am and why it's so important to me to do Vorsa Investments, to build legacy. It started with my children, and now if you have grandchildren, you learn real quick that you loved your children. But once you get grandchildren, it's like they're dog food, right? Like everything is for my grandchildren now, right? It's like, oh, I loved them so much more than I loved you. I didn't think that was possible, but I do. And they're fun, right? Like, why weren't you fun when you were a baby? Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I was worried. Now you have these grandchildren, you're like, I'll feed you anything. Like I'll get up in the middle of the night, not complain, have no sleep depravity, right? So now it's my grandchildren and now I have 7, right? And we have 2 that aren't ready for children. So that the number is going to grow. So I feel this pressure, right? Like I need to grow my business so I can leave a legacy that started with my children, but now it's bigger than that. It's up to 7 grandchildren. And so that's the core of who I am and how Vorsa Investments came to be. What do? We actively pursue commercial real estate. So we are buying apartment complexes. We're buying storage units, laundromats, gas stations, and storage units. And we're able to do this from busy professionals like you that want to own real estate without being the landlord. You get to earn consistent passive income. So who wants income without doing a thing for it, right? You get a check in the mail and you slept and you did nothing for it but put in some money, right? So that's who we're looking for. Our other avatars are basically anybody that doesn't want to pay commission on their investment funds, right? So we know that, if you are and I want to be diversified, right? I preach diversification, but let's be honest, if all of your eggs are in the stock market, that's a very dangerous game to play. And you're not earning 100% of your invested funds on the profits. There are commissions paid. And a syndication, which is what I do, so the whole raising of the money between various busy professionals is a syndication. So that's the second part of my company, is teaching how to join that syndication. And so let me just digress a second. This is the first time I've ever spoken without a slideshow. right? And so I'm like freaking out without my thing. And so I'm like trying to wing it. And so just love on me, okay? Because this was so hard. So without a slideshow. But yeah, but I love it. And I love what I do and I love what I teach, right? So I'm really looking, for people that want out of the stock market or at least be diversified. Like there are stocks that are never going to go anywhere. Just be educated enough to know that the money that you put in there is not 100% yours. There are people taking commissions or people taking parts of your hard-earned money, and any profits made, they're going to take their cut. So whatever you think you're going to make, you're only getting a fraction of that amount. We're in a syndication, we don't work on commission, and 100% of your money is 100% earned, and it's 100% profit on the back end. What I do love is as you join a syndication, your profits are accrued monthly, but we pay out quarterly. But who wants to pay taxes on that? Nobody, right? So we offer depreciation sharing. So every year, our investors get a K-1, which you will take to your accountant, and any profits made from your syndication earnings should be tax-free, or at least very close to it. And there are some other tricks that I am SEC regulated, so we won't talk about those tricks right now. Book an appointment if you want to know about the other tricks about how not to pay any federal taxes ever again. So really, it's my hope and it's my dream to really educate people of all masses about breaking any financial generational curses that you have made, be in your family. I grew up very poor. I was probably a step below low middle class, right? Nobody taught me this. Nobody knew to taught me this. My mother certainly wasn't going to teach me about generational wealth building or compound interest or anything other than the stock market, right? The schools don't teach you this. College doesn't teach you this. So how do we learn? And it just takes that one person to stand up and say, you know what, it ends with me, right? My family is not going to be poor anymore. We are going to be educated. We're going to learn how to buck this system, and we are going to make any generational financial curses an end forever. So I'm teaching my kids. They're on board. 2 of my grandkids are already on board, and it's my prayer that they continue, and as I buy apartments and I'm dragging them to apartments and we're doing the whole process, that they continue to grow up in that. So then when their children come, they're just automatically taught. It's now a normal, right? We're not the oddballs, right? Because there's so many times I will speak to this. And one of my speeches, you're welcome to listen to, Vorsa Investments LLC does have a YouTube, but I talk about having that middle class mindset, which, did anybody here grow up trust fund or incredibly rich parents? Really? I mean, that's a fair question. Yeah, right? So you may have been taught, right, how to think outside that box. Most middle class families will not think outside that box, right? They are like, we have a financial advisor, which is really the dumbest thing you could do. But anyway, we have a financial advisor. We do what our financial advisor says because that's our mark of financial success in the middle class. Telling all your friends you have a financial advisor. That financial advisor, God love them, and we work with financial advisors. I really do love to partner with financial advisors. There is a place, and there's a place for people to be in the stock market. Just don't have all of your eggs there, right? But let's be really honest. They work on commission. And do you really think anybody that works on commission has your best interest at hand? Absolutely not. They have their best interest at hand, right? And if you don't know what you're doing, and we didn't when we were in the stock market, we trusted our financial advisor, right? Like, here's our money, grow it, right? We didn't know. And then come to find out, our financial advisor is, they work on other commissions from other companies. So they're putting our money in companies that when we finally started to be educated about wealth building, we asked, where's our money? And we were sick to know the things our money was funding. Things that are grossly against our religious beliefs, our social beliefs. It was horrifying where our money was, and that day we said, give it all back. Just stop what we're doing. We want our money back. We have to find another vehicle. And then my husband wanted to do real estate. We were going to take that money and fix and flip houses. I will teach on that, but you are not going to get you're not going to be a millionaire fixing and flipping houses either, right? And that's a ton of work. And I love what I do, and I love to work and do things, but at the same time, I'm very lazy, right? Like, I want that get-rich-quick scheme, and we're not that. We're get-rich-slow while we're educating and keeping our money, right? People that get insurance payouts, right, and accident payouts, and people that win the lottery, and then you hear a year or two later, they're bankrupt and they're broke. That was a get-rich-quick, right? And all they can think about is, yay, we're rich, we have all this money that they probably never had, right? And we're gonna buy all the things we've never got to have, right? And I like nice things, like, right? So I'm not gonna be pious and be like, oh, I don't love the money. I do love the money, right? And I love what the money can do. But more importantly, I love that money is a vehicle to do bigger and better things, right? I'm realizing, and for quite some time, that it's bigger than just buying apartments and giving my investors good returns, right? There's a purpose for me. Like, we're gonna start building homes or apartments, or not building them, I'm sorry, but buying apartments. And we're going to start putting children who are aging out of foster care and are now kicked out of the foster care system and homeless. We want an apartment complex for them. We want an apartment complex for homeless veterans that nobody cares about and nobody's taking care of. We're going to take that stand and say, no, we're going to house them. Not with the foster kids, but separate. There's a lot. Who watched, oh gosh, now I can't even think about it, the sex trafficking movie, Sound of Freedom. I met the founder of Sound of Freedom, who the whole movie was portrayed on his life. I met him. I listened to him speak. Grown men were bawling in that room. And they need housing for these kids and these women who are being rescued out of sex trafficking. And God spoke, and he was like, this is what you're gonna do. And so I'm like, how do I do it, right? Where's the housing? Where's the need? We're going to start having housing for women and children who have been rescued out of sex trafficking, right? So there's a bigger picture, right? But the money is the vehicle to get there. And then, so what does this mean for you, and why should you care? Because really everybody needs to at least have a portion of their portfolio in a syndication, right? So how does it work? So who is our avatar? Who are we looking for? Well, we're looking for anybody that, again, wants lazy money. You do nothing for it, but you get it in the mailbox. You get your quarterly check every quarter. Yes? Yes? Right? Right? Who wants that money without paying any commissions? Right? All right. Who has all of that? And you don't have to raise your hand for this one, right? I'm not trying to shame anybody, but it's education, right? And these are things that we're not taught. Who has all their money in one vehicle? Who has all their money just in a 401k? Who has all their money with a financial advisor in the stock market? Who has all of their money in a low interest savings account? And I'm telling you, I've shopped them. This is part of what I talk about. There is no such thing as a high interest savings account. And if they sell that to you and you buy it, it's a joke, right? Who has, oh my God, and please don't raise your hand on this, money buried in a coffee can in your backyard? Stop. Okay, look. If you seriously have money in a coffee can in your backyard and you text me coffee can, I will put you at the top of the booking list. You have priority, 100%, my complete attention. I will dig it up for you. We are gonna put that thing to work. Who has left a job and left a dormant retirement plan, an old 401k or an IRA? I know you have, right? So again, we can teach you how to move that money into a self-directed account and get it working. We can teach how to self-direct. I don't recommend this for anybody that has a job whose employer is, contributing to your 401k. Look, that is free money. And one thing I won't turn down is free money, right? So leave that alone. But anybody that's like, hey, I'm gonna open a 401k or an IRA for my kids, don't do that. Don't open that, because again, you are putting that at risk with the stock market. And this is how in 2008 people lost their money. And it wasn't a great year for real estate either, I'll give you that, but real estate will always come back up, and it's always gonna come back up faster than the stock market. But when people lost all of their money, all of their retirement in the stock market, you did not hear or see one financial advisor say, you know what, I'm gonna sell my car to make you whole. I'm gonna put my house on the market to make you whole. I'm gonna go get a personal loan from the bank to make you whole. They won't do that. What they're gonna say is, yeah, sorry, you knew the risk, and we need to do this again. In a syndication, and especially my syndication, which is what kind of sets me apart, is I would too sell my house. If things went that terribly, I would absolutely sell my house. My husband knows it, my kids know it, and they are on board. We would sell our house to make our investors whole. I would sell my car. If anybody sees a Jeep that says dirty girl and she's all lifted and badass, that's my Jeep. She'd be the first to go to make my investors whole. And y'all are gonna laugh, but this isn't a joke. I would sell my kidney if it meant making my investors whole. And I don't say that casually or to be funny. If that's what it took and somebody offered me, I don't know what a kidney goes for, doesn't matter, right? I have two, and they're good, right? For the most part, I would do a alcohol flush first. But in all seriousness, that's how seriously I take my people's money. But in 2008, yes, did it take a dip? Yes, but were investors completely lost with nothing? No, and even if we were in a bad situation, like another 2008 or COVID, okay? Nobody could have predicted COVID. We were killing it in our apartments. COVID hit, and now we're like, crap, now what, right? Like none of our tenants are going to pay. We're losing everything, and that didn't happen at all, right? So let me just tell you this, I'm on such a divine path that not even COVID can mess things up, all right? And that's a whole nother, look, get on my YouTube because I preach about stuff all day long, right? And my path of divinity, because I know that I have been made for such a time as this. And there have been too many things that have happened along the path, which was God, but when you're in it, you don't think that, right? You don't think like, oh, God's got this plan, and I'm supposed to learn this lesson. No, you're like, this sucks. I'm confused. I'm angry. I don't know what's going on. But then you come to now, and you're like, got that, and thank God for it, right? So I have like a story of like this horrible landlord. And I thought, why did I deserve that? It was the worst landlord story ever. And I'm like, because God needed me to know that. So 13 years later, when I own apartments, I know the kind of landlord I don't want to be, right? I know how to be kind to my tenants. I know how to be loving. I know how to be understanding. And I don't want to do, there's a line, you're not going to take advantage of me, but there is a kindness to be had, right? And I get to dictate that. So again, why is this all important to you? Because you're all qualified in one way or another to come on board.
What is the minimum investment?
So yeah, perfect question, and this varies, right? Okay, every deal is different. Typically, our minimum investment is $50,000. We are well aware not everybody has $50,000 sitting, in an account or liquid, right? So what we can do is, there's so many options, right? And I know I'm going to leave you with other questions. Please book appointments, right? But there are other options. There are options where you can actually come on board and have ownership in these apartments with no money. None. No money out of your pocket. You have a job, right? And I need you to come, I need you to step up, but you don't have any money. It's not yours, but you can still have ownership. We can make it, Chris, if you only had 30 and Imelda next to you had 20, and we can put an LLC together for the both of you to come in combined, join forces, and again, compound. We try to do deals that at least double our investors' money, right? So aside from the passive income that you're going to get quarterly, if you both put in 50 grand, at the end of the term, you're going to get 100, or pretty darn close to it, but conservatively, we do try to at least double the money. That's 100 grand. Turn around, you invest that other 100 grand, right? That's all you're going to compound it again. So at the end of the next quarter, the 3 to 5 years, now you have 200. Now you guys can split. So as soon as the first deal is over and you have 100 grand, you have the money to go off on your own, right? Break the LLC, do it on your own, or you can continue to stay. But maybe, it's a grandma, or your aunt or your sister, right? We can bring you in together, and we teach everything, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you this and be like, good luck, right? I'm here to educate you because there's so much more to this, right? And I only got 20 minutes, and I was going to have somebody time me. Didn't do that. I have no idea where I am on time. Okay, I'm right at 20, so I have to wrap up. There are so many ways. There are so many avenues, and I'm here to educate you and teach you. Like, I just did the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more. So let's talk about one of the parts about people coming on board. One of the steps is onboarding calls. So I am SEC regulated. I do have to follow their rules and guidelines, which I do very strictly because this is my business, this is my heart. And who wants to be audited? No? Nobody? And here's the super suck about the SEC is you are guilty until proven innocent. And not only are you treated like a criminal through this audit, but you're paying for the audit. And it is tens of thousands of dollars. And I don't care how much money I have, I don't ever want to pay for that audit. So I'm strict. Like, I enjoy 50 Shades of Grey, okay? My husband is a CPA. He does not. And if I got him audited, it would be worse than divorce, right? So it's important to us to follow the rules and the guidelines. But in an onboarding call, if any of you came and said, I only have $5,000, or I have no money, I am broke, I don't have any money, but how do I get involved? We will have that conversation, and I will show you and teach you how to get involved. It's all about education, and I'm going to hold your hand every step of the way. So even if you have the $50,000, I'm like, I'm going to start. Great. Here's what we're doing. So I'm very, very transparent in my business because I do take your money seriously. We have monthly newsletters. We are very transparent about our financials. The financials I get from the bank, I make a copy and you get it in an email. So everything that I'm seeing, you are seeing. These are hard assets, right? This is not a REIT where you're buying, you're buying real estate, but you don't know who owns it. You don't know where it's at, and you hope that they're doing a good job performing, right? We have a proven track record of performance, and we'll show you in every newsletter, this is what we're doing, here's your financials, here's what we're on track. If stuff goes sour, this is why, right? So very transparent. So if anybody has any questions, I do have a booth. Okay, so the YouTube is Vorsa Investments, LLC, Vorsa Investments. You can look at Tiffany's shirt, LLC. You can book.
QR code at the booth.
Oh yeah, I do have a QR code at the booth, which will take you to all the social medias. VorsaInvestments.com/book will get you a consultation. So you're not in this alone, right? We're not going to throw you to the wolves. I will literally partner with you every step of the way. And I know a confused mind says no. So if you're right now saying, nope, I don't get it, call me, right? Because again, I barfed a bunch of information on you. You're going to have 100 questions. I love to answer them. I love to teach because this is my passion, and I do feel like everybody should be in a syndication. And so